Good
Madam,
morning.
please start.
Good morning, my dear students. I am happy and privileged to introduce Mrs. Rupa, PGT English, working at Telangana Model School, Bommal Ramaram, Yadadri district. Today, your beloved madam will explain you the poem What Kind of Place by Uma Paramesharam. Dear students, hope you all are ready with your English textbooks. Open page number 227. This poem clearly depicts how elderly people feel depressed or how they are unable to adapt themselves in a foreign place. And also it explains how it is difficult for them to adjust in the new place. Now I wish Rupa madam to continue the lesson.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another session of Senior Intermediate. Today, I will be taking up poetry of Module 5, Unit 18. The name of the poem is What Kind of Place, written by Uma Parameshwaran. Children, at the end, when we complete this poem, you will be able to understand how the clash between cultures create friction and tension between two generations. You will also be able to understand how the cultural alienation brings out problems of adjustment of elders to new environment. You will also be able to broaden the vocabulary and also develop an appreciation for English language. Hope you will enjoy the poem. Now, you see on the screen, Incredible India. India, our motherland, is incredible. What do you understand by the word incredible? Incredible means marvelous, wonderful. Our motherland is indeed a wonderland. Mark Twain, one of the greatest American writers, said, India is the cradle of human race, the birthplace of human speech, the mother of history, the grandmother of legend, and the great grandmother of tradition. Our most valuable and most constructive materials in the history of man are treasured up in India only. Mark Twain has greatly spoken about India. Indeed, India is a land of great civilization. It has a great heritage. It is a land of values. It is one of the oldest and one of the most popular countries in the world. Indeed, India is a land of treasure. It is a land of great culture. Now, the title of the poem, What Kind of Place? Now, herein, the poetess is talking about the feelings of an elderly mother who has been taken to a foreign land. The elderly mother is Indian. She loves Mother India. And she is now taken by her son, who is very well settled in the foreign land. Now, in this poem, we will see how the mother faces the difference, how the mother faces anxiety, how the mother faces confusion in the foreign land because she is very much used to the Indian culture. She is now exposed to a new environment, the foreign environment. Let's get started. Before that, we will look into the biographical sketch of the poetess Uma Parameswaran. Uma Parameswaran, the poetess of this poem, was born in the year 1938. She was born in Madras, now which is known as Chennai. She did her BA from Jabalpur University. She did her MA from Nagpur University. She also did her MA in creative writing from Indiana University. She completed her PhD from Michigan State University. Now, what is this creative writing? Let's see. Creative writing is original writing that expresses ideas and thoughts in an innovative way. In creative writing, one will be able to express feelings and emotions. There is a lot of space for creativity. The poet or the author can express more of feelings and emotions than facts. Later, the poetess emigrated to Canada in 1966 and took to teaching at Winnipeg University. She continues to live there even after her retirement. Now, here you need to understand what is the meaning of emigration, children. Emigration is the relocation or process of people leaving one country to reside in another. Emigrate means to leave your own country. For example, you are leaving India and going to the US. So the country which you are leaving, that is your motherland, that is India, you say that I am emigrating from India. And what is this immigrate? Immigrate is a country into which you are moving into. You are leaving Mother India and going to live in the US. So the country to which you are moving into and immigration. I and I, you remember, children? It means the country to which you are going to is referred to as the immigrated country. So the country which you are leaving is the place where you are emigrating from, and the country into which you are going to relocate means you are immigrating into that country. So if you are leaving India and going to the US, it means you are emigrating from India, and it means you are immigrating to the US. I hope you understood the difference between these two terms, children. Now, you learned what is emigration. Now, one more word you need to learn is brain drain. Brain drain is a term used to describe the emigration of highly skilled individuals or professionals from one country to another country in search of better jobs or for lucrative salaries, that is good salaries, or to increase the standard of living. Now, many of the professionals, for example, say whether it is doctors or engineers or even whether it is skilled persons, they are getting molded up. They are getting turned into professionals in India, and they are moving to the foreign countries. So what is happening? They are getting molded into professionals. They are turning into doctors, engineers, and so on and so forth in India. But they are going and working in foreign land. What is happening with this is they are moving for various reasons, children. It may be for getting a better job, or it may be for getting high salaries, or it may be even for increasing the standard of living also. Whatever the reason may be. But what is happening is brain drain is occurring in India. Many of the people in India who are turning out to be professionals and skilled persons in India, but they are going and serving in the foreign land. So even you in future may take up jobs in the foreign lands. Yes, foreign countries. So it is left up to you to think whether you are going to get molded up as skilled and professionals in India and serve India, or whether you are going to serve in the foreign land. So think, the choice is left to you. So if you are a true Indian, I hope you will turn up to be professionals and you will serve our motherland. Now, the creative brain of Uma Parameswaran was greatly influenced by the Greek theatre and epic poetry. Epic poetry is long narrative poetry, children. And Greek theatre is an ancient theatre. In Athens, it was started, and where till date plays are being performed. So the influence of Greek theatre and as well as epic poetry can be seen in all her short stories, poems, and even even the biographies she has written. The mark and the influence can be seen in all her writings. Some of the books she has written are Maru and the Maple Leaf, Trishanku, Sisters at the Well, The Sweet Smell of Mother's Milk, and the biography of the great scientist C.V. Raman was also written by Uma Parameswaran. Now, in this poem, Uma Parameswaran has made use of poetic devices. So what are those poetic devices she has used? Before knowing that, let us know what is actually a poetic device. Poetic device is nothing but the technique, the style, or the choice of words that an author or poet makes in order to communicate with the audience or the reader. There are many such poetic devices, children, like simile, metaphor, rhyme, irony, repetition, personification, rhythm, and hyperbole, and so on and so forth. But in this particular poem, what kind of place we see that Uma Parameswaran, the poetess, has made use of situational irony. Irony is of three types mainly, children. One is verbal irony, one is situational irony, and the other one is dramatical irony. Here, the poetess has made use of situational irony. What is this situational irony? Situational irony occurs when what actually happens is the opposite of what is expected. Okay, this will be clear if we deal with some examples. Like for example, a police station gets robbed. Now, what is expected? A police station must be a safe place, and it is a place where the robbers are kept. They're caught and kept in jails in the police station. Such a safe place itself is getting robbed. What do we expect? That a police station is a safe place, but the police station itself is getting robbed. Means what we are expecting and what is really happening here is quite the opposite. And one more example we'll take. A pilot has a fear of heights. What do we expect? That a pilot flies great heights, so he will not be having fear of heights. But here we have a contrary thing happening, the opposite thing happening. A pilot has a fear of heights. And one more example, a shoemaker wearing shoes with holes. A shoemaker's work is to mend shoes, repair shoes. So we don't expect a shoemaker to wear shoes with holes. But what we are expecting and what is happening here is completely the opposite. So I hope you understood situational irony. Now next we'll see the other poetic device with the poetess made use of. What is that? Repetition. What is repetition? Repetition is nothing but repeating words. It is repeating of phrases, lines, or stanzas. Why is this repetition done? Even in the class, we teachers, after explaining a stanza in a poem or a paragraph, what do? We ask, did you understand, children? Yes. And again, after further explanation, again we ask, did you understand, children? We repeat this. Did you understand? Did you understand? Why do we do that? This repetition will enable us to understand whether you are clearly understanding what we are teaching or not. In the same way, in poetry also, repetition is a device that is used in order to emphasize an idea, a feeling, or sometimes it is also used to create rhythm, or even it is used to create a sense of urgency. So, for example, if we take nobody can make it out here alone, all alone. Nobody, but nobody can make it out here alone. Here you see nobody and nobody are the words that are getting repeated, and even alone and alone are the words getting repeated. So the poetess is making use of two poetic devices. One is situational irony and the other one is repetition. Now, you need to know what is cultural shock in order to understand the poem better. Now, cultural shock is the feeling of uncertainty, confusion, or anxiety, that is worry, that people experience when they visit a foreign land or a new place, or even if they are doing business in a new place, or even if they are living in a society that is entirely different from their own, means that which they are used to. So here, for example, you are moving from India to the US. Then what will happen? The Indian culture where you are born and brought up is completely different from the US culture, which is the foreign culture. Means the lifestyle is different, the living style is different, the clothing is different, food habits are different. So you find there is a vast difference. So this shift from an environment which you are used to, and you shifting from this known environment to a completely new environment, that will give you a feeling of what? Confusion, worry. It is a cause of worry. So people will experience this sort of anxiety, confusion, uncertainty, and this is what is referred to as culture shock. Now, what kind of place is the title of the poem? Let's get into the poem. Now, herein, an elderly mother who is born and brought up in India is taken to a foreign land by her son, who is very well settled in the foreign land. Now, the mother belongs to India. India, a land of rich culture, and the culture that is very different from the foreign culture. So, herein, the mother is expressing her feelings in the foreign land, in a new place, in a new environment. What is her anxiety? What is the confusion? What is the cause of her worry? Let's see. What kind of place you have brought me to, son, where the windows are always closed and the front door is always locked and no rangoli design on porch to say, please come in. So the mother is expressing her feeling. She's telling, what kind of place you have brought me to, son? So you have brought me all the way from India to this foreign country. But here, what do I find? The windows are always closed and the main door is always locked and there is no rangoli on the porch. What does this word porch mean? It's a small area at the entrance of a building or a house. In India, we have the habit of what? Cleaning the porch. Yes, we sprinkle water or mop it with water, and we draw rangoli designs, and that rangoli design gives an welcoming feeling. So the mother is finding a difference here. In India, the doors and the windows are always open, and there is rangoli design on the porch which welcomes the people in. But in this foreign land, what is happening? The windows are closed and the front door is always locked. So she is feeling unhappy about it. She is feeling discomfort. Son, it gives me great joy to see you well settled, children and all. Now the mother, in the first stanza we have seen, she is expressing her discomfort, displeasure. Now here in the second stanza, she is telling she is feeling happy, great joy, she is telling. Why? What is the reason for it? Because her son is very well settled. He is having a good job, a beautiful house, he's having children and friends and all. So this is what is making her happy. In the first stanza, she was unhappy. She was feeling discomfort. And whereas here you find that she is expressing her happiness. So two contrast things. First stanza expressing her regret, and in the second stanza, she is expressing her happiness. Though my hairs do stand on end when your wife holds with men and you with other men's wives. So here again, the mother is expressing what? A point that she is not able to digest few things that she is seeing in the foreign land. What is that? She is not able to digest the fact that her daughter-in-law, that is the son's wife, is shaking hands with the other men. At the same time, she is unhappy about her own son shaking hands with other men's wives. So she's not able to accept the habit of shaking hands, and which is so very common in the foreign land. The mother is not able to accept it because here in India, we have the culture of saying namaskar, namaste, whereas in the foreign land, she finds people shaking hands. And moreover, her son is shaking hands with other men's wife, and her daughter-in-law is shaking hands with other men. So she's not able to accept it. So here, what is happening because of this? She is getting goosebumps because she is having a strong emotional reaction of not accepting. Why? Because the culture we are born in is completely different. Our Indian culture is entirely different from the Western culture. Now herein we got to why this goosebumps the mother is getting, because she belongs to a generation that is old, and the son you find he belongs to this generation. So the older generation and the present generation, there is a gap, because what is normal in the foreign land where her son and her daughter-in-law have got adjusted to, seems to be very normal for them. But whereas for the mother, she has been born and brought up in an Indian environment where she is not used to and shaking hands. We are used to saying only namaskar. So what seems to be very normal for the son and daughter-in-law, is something abnormal for the mother. So because of that, what is happening? That emotion of the mother is giving rise to goosebumps because of the fact that she is not able to digest and see the son as well as the daughter-in-law shaking hands. Because of that, what is happening? Because of that discomfort, all the muscles under the skin are getting tightened up and the hair is standing erect, and that is what we refer to as goosebumps. Now what the mother is saying in the next stanza. But I am glad, son, I really am, that you are settled so good, and thought to bring me all the way to see this lovely house and car and all. Now, previously, she said she was not able to accept shaking of hands by her daughter-in-law as well as by her son too. But now here she is expressing her happiness. She's happy. She's very glad to see her son, who is very, very well settled in the foreign land. Well settled means a good job. He has a beautiful house. He is having all comforts. And here you see, children, that you are settled. So good. Now what poetic device is this? Good. The word is getting repeated. What is it? The poetic device the poetess is using here? Yes, it is repetition. The word is getting repeated. And she's very happy about the fact that the son, who is very well settled in the foreign land, did not leave his mother. The love for his mother made him bring her from India to the foreign land. So she is happy about what the son has done, that he has brought her from India to the foreign land. And the mother also, after coming to the foreign land, in the foreign country, she is happy to see her son with good job, good wife, children, and he's having a beautiful house. He's having all comforts. He's having car and he's leading a luxurious life. Now the contrast you see, children. The previous stanza was telling her, speaking about her unhappiness. But here in this stanza, you see she is very, very happy. The contrast, two different situations. Here she is comparing Indian culture with the foreign culture. And two different contrasting situations. One is, in one stanza, she is expressing her feeling of happiness. In the other stanza, she is expressing her feeling of unhappiness. But I cannot breathe this stale air with yesterday's cooking smells going round and round. Now, mother is again expressing that she is not happy with something. What is that she is not unhappy? She is unhappy about. She is not able to breathe here. She is getting suffocated. Why? Stale air, she's telling. But I cannot breathe this stale air. Means, what is stale air? Air that is not fresh. Why is the air not fresh over there? Because she's getting the smell of the dishes that we cooked the previous day. And the smell of the dishes that were prepared the previous day was going round and round in all the rooms in the house. Why do you think, children, it's happening? Because all the time the doors are locked and the windows are closed. So the previous day's stale air, having the smells of the dishes that are prepared the previous day, was going round and round in the house. And she is not able to breathe the air that is not fresh. Son, cooking is everyday thing, not a Sunday work alone. Here the mother is telling, in India, cooking is an everyday work. As we brush our teeth and take bath every day, cooking is also an everyday job. It is not a Sunday work. It's not a job that is to be done on a holiday, that is Sunday. So she's comparing again India and the foreign land. Open the window, son. I am too used to the sound of living things, of birds in the morning, of rain and wind at night. Now mother is telling, son, my dear son, out of great love you brought me to this foreign land. But what I am used to, what I am habituated to is in India, I was very much habituated, means I was used to what? The sound made by different living organisms, by different living things. It may be even people talking, those sounds she could hear, and it may be the sound of the animals that she might have heard, that is cows, buffaloes. And here she makes a special mention of the chirping of the birds that she is very much used to. In India, when she was in India, these were the sounds which were coming so naturally and which were so pleasant to her. And even she could hear the sound of the raindrops and even the wind that was blowing at night. So she says in India, she was very much close to nature. She could enjoy the nature, the sounds that were coming so naturally from the raindrops, from the wind, from the birds. Not the drone of furnace fan and hiss of hot blast and whoosh, whoosh of washing machine. Now the mother is telling, I don't want to hear the drone of furnace fan. Drone of furnace fan is the low sound that is made by a furnace fan. Children, furnace fan is used in the foreign countries in order to regulate the temperature. Supposing if it is very cold, what happens? In order to make the get warmth, to make the rooms warm, the furnace fan is used. So she was getting this low sound that was heard from the furnace fan. And she could even hear the hiss of hot blast. Hiss is the sound like long as. That was, she was able to hear from the hot blast, means the sound that is coming very loudly. Okay. And she could even hear the whoosh, whoosh of washing machine. Means when we put the clothes into the washing machine and run it on, what will happen? You get the sound of the water that is rushing in. Okay. So she was able to hear the sound of machines, the furnace fan, washing machine, all man-made machines. In India, she was able to hear all natural sounds, very pleasing, very pleasant sound she was able to hear. But in the foreign land, she was able to hear the sounds made by machines. She could hear nothing other than these sounds, so unnatural. And one more thing, even we try to make our life very comfortable, and we are depending more and more on machines, and there is no physical activity, children. So because of that, what is happening? We are using washing machine, we are using dishwashers. Yes. So what is happening? There is no physical activity for us. So what is happening? Because of that, we are not fit, and we are suffering from various diseases. And what is that we are doing? We are going for jogging, or we are going for walking, or we are going to the gyms to stay fit. So we see there's no physical activity nowadays. So because of that, we are not physically fit, we are not sound, we don't have good health. So what we are finding here, the physical activity is missing because we are making our life more comfortable using these machines, and there is no physical activity. And to stay fit, what are we doing? We are paying for the gyms, yes, or we are going for walking, or we are doing yoga and all. Isn't it, children? Now the mother is telling, open the windows, my son, and let me go back to the sun and air. So the mother is expressing her feeling. What is she telling? My son, open the windows. And she's telling, let me go back to sun and air. She's telling, let me go back to India, where I'm getting a lot of fresh air and where the sun's rays fall into the houses. Where is this? Naturally, you get vitamin D. Whereas in this land, what is happening? Always the doors being locked, windows being closed. What is happening? There is no sun, there is no vitamin D, and there is no fresh air. She is telling, let me go back to my India. Let me go back to my country. She's telling, let me go back to no fragrance. There are no perfumes. There are no scents. What is she telling? Even sweat and flies and all. But not this, she's telling. She's telling, I'm very happy. Let me go back to India. There may be flies in my country, but they are hardworking people in my country. And though I get the smell of sweat instead of perfumes, the perfume smells which I get here, it doesn't matter to me. Though I get the smell of the sweat, or even if the flies are all around in my country, but still, I do want to be in this land. And she's expressing her feeling that she is longing to go back to India. So the poetess started putting a question. She started the poem with a question. What is the question? What kind of place? Now, the poetess is leaving us with so many questions. What could be the probable questions she's leaving us with? She is very much compelling us, forcing us to think about many things, children. She is telling us to think about brain drain. She's telling us to think about whether you're going to turn into a professional, you're going to turn into a doctor or an engineer in India and serve India, or whether you're going to turn into a professional and go and serve the other land. That's a question mark. You must think about it. And moreover, she's trying to make us understand what are the ways and means by which we can reduce the friction that is arising because of cultural differences. Now, the son was very much justified from his point of view, because like many people, educated people who get very well settled in the foreign land, just forget their parents. Now here, the son in this poem did not forget his mother. He loved his mother, and the love for his mother made him take his mother from India to the foreign land. But was the mother able to adjust there in the new environment? No, the mother was not able to adjust. Why? Because the culture in which she was born and brought up, in a land that is called as India, the culture is so rich, the culture of India is so great, and that she could not get adjusted to the foreign culture where there is a lot of difference. So herein, the poetess wants us to think and find out a way by which we can reduce the clashes that come because of cultural differences, and what best can be done in such situation where the son is very well settled in a foreign land, and the mother, even though her son takes her to the foreign land to stay along with her in the foreign land, the mother is not able to adjust to the foreign culture. And one more thing, children, the poetess wants us to find out a way wherein we can reduce or even nullify the generation gap. The generation gap that is giving rise to misunderstandings, or it is leading to adjustment problems also. So the poetess started with one question, but when you really understand this poem, she again leaves us with a question mark, not question mark, but so many questions which are to be answered. She wants us, she's compelling us to think. She wants us to think, to find out a way, to find out ways and means, so that this gap between generations and this gap between the clash of cultures can reduce. What best can be done to minimize them or even to nullify them? It's completely see that there is no such gap, so that there is no conflict, so that there is no misunderstanding. Now, the greatness of India, as you know, children, it's undoubtedly India is a great land. Now, Swami Vivekananda, when he went to the Chicago conference, there he represented India. The very introductory words that he spoke in the foreign land made the audience give a big round of applause. What is that he has spoken? He said, "My dear sisters and brothers of America." Means the very word, the very means the kind of relationship he is getting linked to by calling them sisters and brothers itself speaks the great culture, speaks about the greatness of India. He is an Indian and he has made a mark on the foreign land by his very first introductory words. Now, you see here Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa is an foreigner who came down from Yugoslavia to India. What is the greatness of India? India has the power of attracting anyone. And herein, you see Mother Teresa, being a foreigner, she has Indianized herself. She has Indianized herself by wearing a sari, a white sari with blue border. All the sisters who run her missionaries of charity also wear saris. This speaks about the greatness of India. And we see many foreigners also Indianizing themselves. That is the greatness of Indian culture. Now, when we are seeing the foreigners getting attracted to Indian culture, what is happening to our Indians? They think they are modern, they are westernizing themselves, and they feel that they are modern. And this culture of westernizing themselves is making them lose the identity as an Indian. Even to the places of worship they go, they do not wear traditional dresses. The Indian culture is not getting carried on. The very dressing style, even to the holy places, is so very disturbing and a matter of concern that even in temples we find notice boards displaying what is the traditional dress that is allowed in holy places. Isn't it pathetic, children? It is indeed pathetic. When we take a pledge, we say that we are very proud to be Indian and we are worthy of its rich heritage and culture. So we are only taking the pledge, we are telling that we are Indian only in words. No, we got to show it not just in words but in action. So change is the rule of life, children. I don't say we mustn't change. We must change, but we should not change at the at the expense of losing our identity as an Indian. First, we are Indian. We are Indians first, and rest everything. So we should remember that the spirit of patriotism, the spirit of Indianness should be followed. So who has to lead the children of today? The responsibility lies on parents at home and teachers at school. So at school level, the teachers should act as role models and guide the future of India, that is the children of today are tomorrow's citizens. We must see and ensure that they carry forward the rich heritage and culture of India. So we should maintain our identity as Indians. So we find many of us shifting to the Western lifestyle, not only in dressing, but also in eating too. So most of the Western food is unhealthy, and the food habits are that we have that are Indian in nature are healthy, which is suitable for the season, which is suitable for a particular state. So avoid junk food and eat healthy and stay fit. And children, I hope you enjoyed the poem. Now, please take down the assignment. The first question is identify the irony and repetition in the poem. Second one, what is the underlying message conveyed in the poem? Now, the third question is what made the mother happy in the foreign land? Question number 4, suggest ways and means by which friction between two different generations be reduced. And now the fifth one is imagine yourself in the place of the mother in the poem and share your experience. Bye for now, children, and thank you. Let's meet you in the next session. Till then, be Indian in word and deed. Bye, children.